Hi everyone, Jim here. Welcome to my channel, Mystery and Mayhem. Today I thought I'd share with you what I've been up to this last week or so. I know it's been horror mayhem for the month of May. I haven't been reading a lot of horror. I've been kind of neglecting my duty for horror mayhem, but I did read one book of horror, and I mentioned this in another video. I did read The Night Boat. Now, The Night Boat is written by Robert R. McCammon, and it's his third book. Apparently, it's his second story written, but it was the third story published. This involves, just to make, long story short, Nazi U-boat gets, from World War II, gets found off the coast of a small Caribbean island. It gets brought to the surface. It's in almost perfect shape, and it's brought into dry dock on this small Caribbean island, and the Nazi crew that was aboard the U-boat is still alive. Now, I'm not sure if they're zombies or if they just have an extended lifespan. Apparently, it was due to some kind of voodoo spell, but they escape from the boat, the U-boat, and hijinks ensues. They basically try to obliterate the entire population of the island while trying to repair the submarine so they can take it back out into the water and cause chaos. But it didn't quite engross me as it did when I was 16 years old when I initially read it. But it's still a good book, still enjoyable. Robert R. McCammon's a good writer, very capable, describing scenes and atmosphere and dialogue. It had a very fun and pulpy atmosphere to it. It was fun, but as I said, it doesn't really engross me as much as it did when I was 16 years old. The two main characters, have some background that's kind of ingrained into their character, that's injected into their character, I should say, but it's a little without much substance, these characters' backstories. But as I said, it was one of his earlier novels, and he did improve as time went on, but I would still recommend this as a fun, pulpy read. And this is called The Night Boat by Robert R. McCammon. And so check that out if you get a chance. I also, this last weekend, we went out to a bookstore in Burlington. Now, I know I've said before that we don't have a lot of bookstores around us, and we don't really. I go to thrift stores mostly. They're nearby, but there is one that's a bit of a drive away in Burlington, and we decided to take a drive. We were going to IKEA to pick some stuff up, and the bookstore's on the way, so we decided to stop. And I picked up quite a few Western novels and a few science fiction novels as well. But I'll share those with you right now, as it's quite a few. And here it's not even June yet, and I'm kind of in June on the range frame of mind right now. And I think there's a few of my booktuber friends out there who are already in a rocket summer frame of mind. There's a couple that I could think of, and we're not even out of May yet. And it just depends on what your interests are and what you're really looking forward to. And I've been looking forward to June on the range for a long time. So I'm going to start with a few. Let's start with some adult Westerns. I got, you guys might be familiar with the Gunsmith books. And this is a later one. This is number 209, called Death Times 5. Now, these are written, as far as I know, they're still written by Robert J. Randisi. I think he's written them all, but I could be wrong. Maybe these later ones he's sent to other writers to take care of, but I'm not too sure on that. So, and here's number 302, The Friends of Wild Bill Hickok. And this is another Gunsmith Clint Adams novel. And they're a lot of fun. Again, they're pulpy, and there's not much to them. They're just a lot of fun. And this one is called Renegade number 5, The Macumba Killer by Ramsey Thorne. And this is This is an adult, well, it's called a Western, but it's the character's British, and it takes place on a voodoo-crazed island. So I'm not too sure how that's a Western, but apparently it's got some pretty adult stuff in there. And I've never read one of them before, so, looking forward to checking that out. And that's kind of an interesting cover, very well done cover, and the whole logo and frame, that's kind of a nice looking book. So I picked that one up. Now, we're going to get into some more traditional Westerns. I've got a double paperback by Wayne D. Overholser, West of the Rimrock and Draw or Drag. And unfortunately, it's got one of these non-sticker stickers on the cover, which I kind of hate, and I know nobody else likes them either. But, if I could just take that off and have the whole cover, that would be fantastic. But that's a fairly thick book. And I've got a couple Wayne D. Overholsers in my shelf. And actually later, I actually went through all my shelves and pulled out all my Westerns that I could find. So I'm going to show them, a pile of them to you in a couple minutes. And those are aside from the two Elmore rows I have, and another row of Westerns I have on my shelf over here. But anyway, we'll get to that. Sorry, my audio gave out on me there for a second. I'm going to have to reshoot everything I just did. But I think what I stopped at was telling you about the Westerns I'd pulled out on my shelf. We'll get to that in a couple minutes. I'll show you pretty much most of the Westerns I have, apart from I think I still have some Larry McMurtry on my shelves, which I didn't pull out. Some Robert E. Howard Westerns, and Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote a couple of Westerns too, so they're still on the shelves. I didn't pull them out. So here's all the Westerns that I managed to pull off my shelf. Now, as I said, this isn't all of them, but this is probably most of them. And the only two that I actually bought at the store were these two right here. And again, they're anthologies, which I always pick up whenever I can. But yeah, and there's Josie Wales down there. A whole bunch from the Long Arm series. John Jakes again. There's Maverick, Poker Accordion and Maverick. A couple of Gunsmith. J.T. Edson, which I have a few of those. William Johnstone, which I have yet to read. Any Johnstone. And the Man with No Name books that I have. A couple of, Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider, Outlaw Josie Wales again, Hang 'em High, and then the Man with No Name books. And there's Shane right up there on top with the Edge books. Let's carry on with the book haul, shall we? I have a couple Zane Greys. This is called The Ranger and Other Stories by Zane Grey. There's 4 short stories in here. And this beautiful book. I love the whole look of this, and they published most of his stories in this style, and it's got a nice wraparound cover. And this includes the stories The Ranger, Canyon Walls, Avalanche, and From Missouri. So that's Zane Grey. And I haven't decided which one I'm going to read yet for June on the Range, but once I find out, I'll let you guys know. The next one is called Wilderness Trek, and this is about 2 American cowboys in the Australian outback. They travel to Australia to drive a mammoth herd of 3,000 miles across the Australian outback. So that's going to be an interesting alternative swing on the traditional Western. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And that's kind of a cool cover too. Next, I have a couple of Ray Hogans, which he's always good value for your money. I've got Tall Man Riding and Apache Mountain Justice with that cool cover, Gunmen Riding into Town. Next, I have a Luke Short novel with that awesome Western cover, and I love how they did his name in that font. What an awesome cover. And this is called And the Wind Blows Free. And I always pick up Luke Short whenever I see him, whenever I can. I've got a couple of Buchanan novels by Jonas Ward. Now, I've got a few others of his on my shelf, and they're always a fun read. And this is Buchanan's Texas Treasure by Jonas Ward. This was a series of novels with that character. And Trapped for Buchanan. Now I've got an Ernest Haycox novel, and I love Ernest Haycox. I will pick him up whenever I find him, and these are harder and harder to find. This one's called Action by Night, and the cover's been drawn on in pen, but you can just see how awesome of a cover that is. Just exudes Western atmosphere in that one. Very cool. Now this, Zane Grey wrote a series of Lassiter novels. Lassiter was Zane Grey's character in Riders of the Purple Sage. So I've got a couple of these now. I'd like to get them all, but they weren't written by Zane Grey. They were ghost written by a writer named Dean Owen, who was a pretty well-known writer of Westerns, and he was pretty good at it too. So yeah, I'd really like to pick these up. That gives me two of these on my shelf now. So I'm going to keep an eye out for these ones, and they're interesting. They're really good. Now the next three are Western anthologies. Now, Western anthologies aren't like mystery anthologies or sci-fi anthologies. You don't really see a lot of them around. So I like to pick up them whenever I can find them. The first one is called The Killers in this old Bantam paperback, and this features a story by Elmore Leonard, his 310 to Yuma story. And this was, I think, the first paperback printing of that story was in this. And it's a very slim paperback, but it's got 11 stories in it. And I've already started it, actually. I couldn't wait to read it. And there's a couple really good stories in here so far. And yeah, I had to pick that one up. And the next two, these are part of a series of 11 anthologies called The Best of the West. This is The Gunfighters, edited by Bill Pronzini and Martin H. Greenberg. And this is called The Lawmen, which is part of the series. Now, the 11 books in the series where the gunfighters, the lawmen, the outlaws, the cowboys, the warriors, the railroaders, the steamboaters, the cattlemen, and the horse soldiers. So I'm going to keep an eye out for the rest of those if I can get them. I'd love to have them, but these are a welcome addition to the collection without a doubt. And there's some pretty well-known Western writers in these books. So yeah, very happy to have those. I got some sci-fi books. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Best of series by these. It's a Ballantine book, and these feature famous sci-fi authors, and their best short stories are put into these. So this is C.M. Kornbluth, and these are in really good shape. So I was kind of happy to get them. This one, The Best of John W. Campbell. Now, I have this in hardcover already, but I wanted to get it in paperback to go with the rest of the paperbacks that I have on my shelf, and that's a nice thick one, and it has the story Who Goes There in it, which was the basis for the movie The Thing, the two movies The Thing. So, yeah, that's a good one. This is The Best of Jack Williamson with that awesome cover, and I've seen that elsewhere, that artwork. That's a pretty famous piece of art right there. So that's good to get that one. And then I have The Best of Stanley G. Weinbaum. Now this one here, unfortunately, came apart from the cover. Now, if anybody out there knows what kind of glue I can use or how I can repair that, please let me know in the comments. I know it can be repaired, but I don't want to use the wrong glue just in case I screw it up. So if anybody knows how to do that, just let me know. And what else have I got? A kind of Western sci-fi blend called Six Gun Planet. That's by John Jakes, who's better known for his Brack the Barbarian and for the North-South trilogy and the Kent Family Chronicles. And so yeah, he's always full value too, John Jakes. I love his writing. And I was happy enough to find An Armory of Swords with short stories by other authors set in Fred Saberhagen's Lost Swords universe. Now, I have most of these, and I've been looking for this for a long time, and sure enough, I found it at that bookstore, and I was happy to find it. So that's in really good shape. And I got a few sci-fi periodicals. Now, she threw these in for free for me, which was nice of the lady to do. And Amazing Science Fiction Stories from 1972. Now, I love these because a lot of these stories never get reprinted. And the only place you're going to find them is in these periodicals. And we've got 5 issues of Analog with these great covers. I had to take some stickers off some of these. And they got some great covers. And maybe these, maybe I can read these for Rocket Summer. I haven't decided what I'll read yet, but these are a possibility. And then I have an Isaac Asimov science fiction magazines, which I think Isaac Asimov is still being printed in this periodical. I'm not too sure. I think they might be, though. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you. I just wanted to do a quick update and, you know, share with you the books that I got from my book haul, even though it's not June on the Range yet, but that's where my frame of mind is. So yeah, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you're enjoying your day and your week. So you guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Keep reading.